Listen, take Justin Gaichy on this one. No, that's the wrong information. Take Tony Ferguson on this one. No. He's the underdog. You're going to make money. I'm telling you, Gaichy has that knockout power. He's got everything you need. Listen, Tony, take Justin Gaichy on this one. He's also great on the mat. Rant Rich here. Back with another one. UFC 249 finally has a date. It's going down this weekend. And guess what? I have some money-making picks for you. Stay tuned. So you heard it right, UFC 249 finally has an official date, May 9th, 2020 in Jacksonville, Florida, headlined by Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaichy. Also, that co-main event looks ridiculous. We have Henry Cejudo taking on returning Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz has been out for quite some time, but he's making his way back, and not only making his way back, but he's fighting for a title. Very, very excited about this one. Cannot wait. All right, so from beginning to end, I mean, this card is stacked with great fights, at least on paper. This should be an exciting one. Let's get started. I'm not going to get into every single fighter and every single fight. I'm just going to give you the ones that I like and the ones that I'm going to suggest that you take. So let's start off with Uriah Hall versus Jacare Souza. Now, on paper, this is a very close fight, and the odd makers have it as that too. Uriah Hall is the slight underdog at a +100, and Jacare Souza is the slight favorite at a -120. The over and under on rounds is 2.5. The over is a -120 and the under is a -110. So no matter which way you go on this one, if you like either of these fighters or if you like both of these fighters, you can either take the fighter or you can take the over and under on rounds. All right, so let's get into Uriah Hall first. He is 35 years old, 15-9 in his professional career, coming off of 2 wins in a row, which is looking great for him. His last fight was September of last year, where he fought on Antonio Carlos Jr. and he won by split decision. So let me start by saying Uriah Hall is one of those guys that I liked from the absolute beginning, since the Ultimate Fighter days when he was on that show and really showed off his skills. Perfect. And in his that platform for him was amazing. Got into the UFC and didn't excel as fast as I thought he was going to. He had some ups and downs. He had 3 losses in a row at one point. That was a few years ago. But as of late, he's been doing very well. And I think a lot of that was a mental thing for Uriah Hall. Now, he said this in the past on The Ultimate Fighter, and then after that he had some mental blocks throughout his life. He used to get bullied a lot, and he never liked to hurt people, which is very ironic coming from a professional MMA fighter. That's what you get paid to do, is to hurt people. So he had some mental things going on that didn't allow him to really open up and push and being an animal, and that's kind of what you have to do in the UFC. But I think as of late, he's really had that uncontrol coming off of 2 wins in a row. Like I said, he is for sure the superior stand-up fighter in this one. I'm gonna get to Jacare Souza in a minute, but you gotta remember Uriah Hall, not just that spin kick, but the way he executes kicks, knees, all that Muay Thai and all that kickboxing is for a reason. I mean, he is the real deal. Now, also the cherry on top is he has a 7.5 reach advantage over Jacare Souza, which is pretty ridiculous. Only a 2-inch leg reach advantage, which isn't much, but that 7.5-inch reach advantage, talking about he likes to pick guys apart, and he's got some serious hands too. Now, the one thing I would be concerned about is him going to the mat with Jacare Souza, which would not be good for him. So for his benefit, he does have a 71% takedown defense, which is great. He's really gonna need that fighting somebody like Jacare Souza. Speaking of Jacare Souza, let's get into him. Now, he is the older fighter, pushing 41. He's 40 years old, which definitely is not young in this sport. 26-8 in his professional career. He's been around for a long time doing his thing in the UFC and other organizations. Strikeforce was another one. Coming off of 2 losses in a row, which isn't great. His last fight was November of 2019. Lost by a split decision to Jan Blachowicz. And Blachowicz is tough. We've seen him before. You know, I don't want to sound too negative against Jacare Souza. Like I said, he's done some phenomenal things in the UFC, but he's not getting any younger. I know Uriah Hall is 35. He's not a spring chicken either, but Jacare, it's starting to show. It's starting to show. Sometimes you can see a fighter that's getting a little bit older, and you can tell that they're not the same fighter that they used to be now. With that being said, if he does secure a takedown, if he can control the fight on the mat, and if he goes for any type of submission, I think that he could possibly win this fight. I mean, he's a favorite for a reason. I think this fight, and I don't always agree with the lines, but I think these lines are right where they should be. He's a favorite for a reason, so he definitely could pull through and win this fight, but I have a lot of confidence in Uriah Hall on this one. I suggest you guys take Uriah Hall. Single bet, don't go too huge. Let's say you play for 100. It's 100 to make 100. It's pretty much even. Maybe go 50 on this one. I really think he's gonna come through, stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and of course, I mean, we've seen it before, possibly TKO KO win. If not, my second guess would be he's going to win by decision. So yeah, take Uriah Hall on this one. I think he's going to be the victor. Okay, another fight that interests me, and I'm going to suggest one on this one too. Carla Sparser versus Michelle Waterson. Let's start with Carla Sparser. She's 32 years old, 15-6 in a professional career, coming off of 2 wins in a row. She's been looking really good actually as of late. She's definitely a wrestler by trade. That's what she does best. She likes to get on top and do that ground and pound type thing, score some points. Not a big knockout artist, does have a couple submissions under her belt, but she is definitely known for just grabbing you up, taking you down, and dominating on top. So I think she's probably going to try to do that in this one too. Her last fight was September of 2019. She beat Alexa Grasso by a majority decision. So yeah, before that, she's one of those other fighters too that you can't really tell how she's gonna show up. She'll win a couple, lose a couple, win a couple. But at the end of the day, she's fought a lot of good competition, and she's a great fighter. She's just a great fighter, all in all. She's one of those fighters that doesn't look that intimidating, but then when you see her fight, you're like, wow, you're in shock that she's that strong and that powerful, and she can take somebody down, not just take them down, but stay on top of them. So I really think she's gonna try to do this with Michelle Waterson. This is actually another, and a lot of these fights are ground versus stand-up, and we don't see that too often anymore. And I personally like that, because if the stand-up person can just stuff the takedown and just stay on their feet, they probably will have the win. And same thing with the wrestler slash submission artist. If they can just take that fighter down, they have a huge advantage. So yeah, I think it's gonna play a major role in this fight if they're gonna stand up or go to the mat. So let's move on to Michelle Waterson, 34 years old, 17-7 in the professional career, coming off of a loss to Joanna Jędrzejczyk back in October 2019. She lost by unanimous decision on that one. But before that, she looked really good. She was on a 3-fight win streak. Courtney Casey, Felice Herrig, and Caroline Kowalkiewicz. And then she fights Joanna Jędrzejczyk and loses, which is nothing for her to hang her head down, because Joanna, we've seen in her last fight, she is a monster. So like the Uriah Hall fight, and I was just explaining, it's going to be a chess game. It's going to be a chess match. I really feel that Michelle Waterson has the advantage standing up. Her takedown defense isn't great, but I think she's strong enough to keep up with Carla Esparza, and I think if she can just stay on the feet, she has a great chance to win. So I'm feeling really confident about this one. I'm going to take Michelle Waterson. I suggest you guys take Michelle Waterson on this one. Even if you want to throw her on a parlay, I have a little parlay towards the end I'm going to get to. We'll put that on ice for now, but if you don't like the parlay, I would suggest taking her as a single bet. Keep moving here. I'm trying to make this short, so I'm rambling through these fairly quickly, so I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want to have an hour-long video just for picks. As long as you guys have the winner, that's really all that matters. I just like to give a little bit more information just so you know where I'm coming from at least. So moving on to Anthony Pettis versus Donald Cerrone. This is an exciting fight.
That kick hurt him, and he's trying to like get his win back.
Changed the tempo here, Joe.
Yeah, it certainly did, and he got him again. He's down. He's down. He's down.
Looking to finish.
That's
it.
It
It's all over. Anthony Showtime Pettis.
And it was exactly as I said. The switch to the southpaw position opened up that power kick from the back leg.
Both making a somewhat quick return. Both fought back in January. And let's get into Donald Cerrone first, and then we'll move on to Anthony Pettis. Okay, so Donald Cerrone is 37 years old, 36-14 his professional career. This guy has been fighting and been fighting and been fighting for a long time. He does not like to take breaks, as you can see, just fought back in January. But unfortunately, that may play a role in him losing, because he is on a 3-fight win streak. One of those was Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor is on a completely different level. That was quick. I don't even call that a fight. He shouldn't have been fighting Conor McGregor anyway. I mean, can we agree that he shouldn't have been fighting Conor? But anyway, technically they were Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, and Conor McGregor. Those were his last 3 losses. But before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak. So Cowboy is one of those guys that is just he's hard to figure out. I don't know. I don't know if he's another guy that's like more of a mental thing, and just really pulling the trigger. A lot of times he'll start very, very slow, and but then he'll get a head kick and knock somebody out. It's very strange. I can't figure it out for the life of me. Been watching this guy for years, and he's a great fighter. He is a great fighter. His stand-up has proven that he can stand up, but I just think with age and with having so many fights that he's starting to slow down quite a bit. I think his bread and butter is definitely on the mat. His jiu-jitsu game is superior to anything else that he has. He doesn't show it off too much, but it's always there in the holster just in case he needs it. So let's quickly move on to Anthony Pettis. He is 33 years old, 22 in 10 his professional career, coming off of 2 losses in a row. His last loss was Diego Ferreira, and I gotta say, I did take Ferreira on that one. I saw that a mile away that Diego Ferreira was gonna beat Anthony Pettis, but I'm feeling different on this one. I'm feeling different on this fight. I think this is a great matchup. Let me start by saying Anthony Pettis for sure has the stand-up. He's quicker, he's more agile, he's flashier, which, I mean, it's fun to see sometimes, but I think if he stays focused, he can definitely beat Donald Cerrone. He just can't get taken down. I think if he gets taken down, just like the other fights that I'm talking about, it could be a short night for him. He's only lost by 2 submissions out of his 10 losses, but it seems like that is the one that tends to get him in trouble. So all Anthony Pettis has to do is either keep him occupied if he does take him down and just stay defensive and don't get submitted, try to stay on top, obviously, or just keep it on the feet and just work him, because like I said, the agility and the speed is definitely there for Anthony Pettis. So I'm going to suggest you guys take a single bet on this one and take Anthony Showtime Pettis. Okay, so moving on to the good stuff. Actually, it's all been good, at least according to me. It's all been good for the first fight. If you guys go back, I listed on my last video all the fights and how it's gonna go. The odds, I'll post the odds some way, somehow on here, so you guys at least know what's going on with that. But yeah, this is, to me, no better than the prelims. I think it's all good. I really do. I think this is one of the best cards in UFC history for sure. No big names like Conor McGregor's and the John Joneses and stuff like that, but very consistent. We have some big fighters on here, very exciting fighters, and very exciting matchups, because again, we have a lot of these stand-up versus grappler type fights, and I think that makes for an entertaining night. So the only negative about the main card is that the odds just don't line up, and I think they should be a lot closer. Most of these fights should be closer than they are. I do like Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz. I like that fight. Henry Cejudo is the favorite at a -225, and Dominic Cruz is the underdog at a +185. 4.5 rounds are over and under. The over is a -200, and the under is a +155. So I know Henry Cejudo is a little high, and you guys been watching the show long enough know that I don't like to go over a -200. I just think it's silly. I mean, they're risking double your money on your profit, what you're gonna get back. But let's get into this, and I'm gonna tell you who I like and why I like them. All right, so let's start off with Henry Cejudo. He is 15-2 in his professional career, 33 years old, coming off of a win to Marlon Moraes back in June of 2019. That was a TKO win. Very, very impressive by Henry Cejudo. Now, Henry Cejudo is one of those guys that can either take you down and beat your face in or stand up with you. That's why he's so dangerous. That's why he beat Demetrius Johnson and who else? TJ Dillashaw and Sergio Pettis and Wilson Hayes. All these top-notch fighters, he just manhandled them and won. And I know has a couple losses on his record, but Henry Cejudo is the real deal these days. Now, he went through a rough patch, like I was saying. Those were those 2 losses, Demetrius Johnson and Joseph Benavidez. But ever since then, he's been looking phenomenal. He's been looking really sharp. And it's funny because I remember taking Henry Cejudo when he was doing great and he was really, really underrated. And then I took him and I went bigger than usual. And then he lost to Demetrius Johnson. And then he lost again. And I think I took him again to Joseph Benavidez, which still blows my mind to this day. But then he just started just finding his groove and then coming back and doing what he's done. It's pretty incredible. And this is going to be very interesting on seeing Dominic Cruz's return. So let's get into Dominic Cruz. Now, he is 34 years old, and it's tough to keep up with Dominic Cruz because he's been out a lot of his career. 22 wins, 2 losses in his professional career. His last loss was to Cody Garbrandt. That was an amazing fight by Cody Garbrandt. He was basically emulating everything that he was doing. It was like watching a mirror, but Cody Garbrandt was just doing it a lot better and a lot smoother. Got the best of him. Cody Garbrandt ended up winning by unanimous decision on that. So he's been out for 3.5, almost 3.5 years, which is, it's a lot. It's a lot. And they say ring rust and octagon rust, it's a made up thing. No, it's real. He's injury prone. That is for sure. He's injury prone, and Dominic Cruz is amazing. Footwork like no other. I mean, he created that sidestep shuffle, moving his head around, and everything else that he does. Very, very agile. Probably the most agile fighter in the UFC, in my opinion. That footwork is like none other, of course. But he is accident prone, and maybe because he's bouncing around so much, his knees keep giving out, and he's not getting any younger. He's not an old fighter, obviously, but he's been spending more time getting surgeries and rehabbing than he has in the octagon. So for once, I think these odds are exactly where they need to be. Perfect, a minus 225. That's why I said I'll go a little over on this one. I think Henry Cejudo is going to dominate Dominic Cruz. I think he's going to win by decision. So I definitely think this fight is going to go over 4.5 rounds. And I think Henry Cejudo is going to remain the champion. So I suggest, and I had alluded to this earlier with Michelle Waterson, I suggest you do a 2-fighter parlay, Michelle Waterson and Henry Cejudo, because you're taking a dog and you're taking somewhat of a, not really heavy favorite, but you are taking a favorite. It should even out. If you do a 2-fighter parlay, you'll definitely be on the plus side. Last fight of the night, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. Let's start off with Tony Ferguson first. El Cucuy, 36 years old, 25-3 in his professional career. Amazing career by Tony Ferguson. He is on a 12-fight win streak, yes. And he has had injuries and things have happened where he's supposed to fight Khabib. I think this is 5 or 6 times and it hasn't happened. So he has some bad luck in and out the octagon, but he is just an amazing fighter. He's very entertaining to watch. Cardio for days, very long and rangy. He knows how to do it on the mat too if it does go down. Tony Ferguson is also the real deal. I mean, we got a lot of real deal fighters on this one, but Tony Ferguson is not to be played with. So I'm gonna keep it at that. Tony Ferguson is one of those all-around fighters. So moving on to Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje has not had a run like Tony Ferguson has because he's one of the newer guys on the block as far as the UFC goes. He came in and he looked really good, and then he started to not look so great. That Rock'em Sock'em Robot just knock everybody out, full steam ahead game just wasn't working for him. He decided to slow things down, switch up the game plan, be more technical, and ever since then it seems like it's been really working out for him. So he is 31 years old, 21-2 in his professional career, coming off of 3 wins in a row. Before that he had 2 losses in a row. One was to Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Both knocked him out, KO, TKO wins. But then he comes back and beats James Vick by KO, Edson Barboza by KO, and then Donald Cerrone by TKO, KO. Okay, so in my opinion, I think that this is a great fight. It's very close. Tony Ferguson, definitely with the cardio, he's got it on lock. Definitely with the UFC experience, fighting top competition for many years. He's definitely got that unlocked. Jiu-jitsu game, got that unlocked. So he's looking really good. But on the flip side, Justin Gaethje has that natural, just genetic power that he can blast anybody and put them out. And we've seen Tony Ferguson go down before, so it's not an impossibility. Anthony Pettis actually dropped him twice in that fight, even though Anthony Pettis came and ended up losing that fight. He was looking really good at one particular moment. Now, Tony Ferguson does have that cardio and does have that output. That output is ridiculous. So Justin Gaethje really has to keep his hands up. It's got to be a game of defense. And if something else happens, like Tony Ferguson goes to take Justin Gaethje down to either submit him or just ground and pound him, Justin Gaethje does have an 80% takedown defense, which is great for him. That's really going to come in handy. Both with wrestling backgrounds, so that should be interesting. Tony Ferguson's gonna keep him at range with those long limbs. I mean, it's going to happen regardless whether Justin Gaethje wants it to happen or not. He has to be able to slip inside and get one of those power punches to drop Tony Ferguson. I think that's his only way he's going to win. So with that being said, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, guys. I really like Justin Gaethje for some reason on this fight. I know he's the dog and I know he's supposed to lose. I definitely agree with these odds. I don't usually say that, but I think Vegas really nailed this one. I think that Tony Ferguson has a good shot to win, and I think he should be the favorite, but for some reason I think that Justin Gaethje can drop Tony Ferguson and make it a short night. So I'm gonna suggest you guys take Justin Gaethje to beat Tony Ferguson by KO, TKO. Okay, so that's gonna do it. Those are my picks. What did you guys think? Be honest, comment down below. Are you gonna listen to me or are you gonna do your own thing? Couple announcements, new merch coming soon, and also my new platform, new channel, lbrytv.com. Link is going to be in the description down below. Check that out. It's gonna be mostly compilations. Right now there's only a couple videos. It's very new, very fresh, but I'm going to expand my YouTube channel into other platforms, so stay on the lookout for that. And also, if you like this video, please hit that like button, show me some love, hook me up, hit that thumbs up button to show that you liked or enjoyed the video. Really appreciate that. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell next to it so you'll be notified every time I upload a video. So that's gonna do it. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Good luck on everything. Oh, another announcement, Dranftkings.com, UFC 249, Rich's Rant MMA. That's gonna be the title. I'm gonna invite the regulars, of course. Link is going to be in the description down below too. So there's gonna be quite a few links in there. Just check it out. It's gonna be a lot of fun, $5 game. I'm gonna probably have 15 max. So 15 people max in there. Should be a lot of fun. So that's all I got. Until next time, as always, Rant Rich here, signing out from sunny SoCal. I'm out of here. Later.